The new moon in Scorpio on Friday, November 1st has powerful and intense energy as it calls for true vulnerability and death and rebirth of outdated emotional patterns and relationships. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please show your appreciation by leaving a like, a comment, subscribing, and pressing that notification bell. Watch more of my videos or say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant. All of that is very much appreciated by me and makes me feel supported and encouraged to create more content. Before we dive in, if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I offer natal, predictive, relationship consultations. I can help you elect a wedding date or do anything else your heart desires. You can find all of that at anastasiadoesastrology.com. On my website, you can also find my creations. For example, my 2025 astrology planner. It's a beautiful guide to 2025, can help you navigate the ups and downs of life. It contains 223 pages filled with journaling prompts, new moons, full moons, daily and monthly calendars, lots of space to set your intentions, lots of space to write. I even included the best date for love, challenging dates, lucky dates. Anything you need is in this beautiful, beautiful book. On my website, you can also find a variety of candles and oils I create. This new moon is ruled by Mars in Cancer. Mars is about to go into Leo, but then later and at the end of the year, it will retrograde. So I highly recommend my Mars Kazemi candle, which is Mars in Scorpio, conjunct the sun, empowered, the god of war, in the sign of strategic, serious, ninja type Scorpio. It can help you set your intentions, achieve your goals, work out, exercise, sort of achieve fitness goals. It boosts courage, discipline, and passion, can even help in your romantic relationships. Exalted Mars is another option. Both of these candles and oils are perfect for people born with Mars in more challenging positions, which are Cancer, Libra, or Taurus, if your Mars is in the dark house, especially 8th or 12th. If it is retrograde natally, or if it is conjunct opposite square Saturn, this would be my recommendation for you guys. And these are pretty. They're red and they're decorated with garnet stone, which is the stone connected to Mars. Okay, let's talk about the new moon in Scorpio. This one happens at 9 degrees 34 minutes Scorpio at 8:46 a.m. Eastern on Friday, November 1st. So if you have planets between 6 and 12 degrees of Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, this is going to hit you the strongest, so you might feel it very prominently and loudly. We will all feel it, and I'm about to go through 12 zodiac signs to tell you what it will mean for you and your zodiac sign specifically. I recommend listening to your rising sign. But before that, let's talk about the general significance of this new moon. First of all, the new moon is always about new beginnings. It's the moment the sun and moon come together, kiss, make out, make a baby, right? The moon is dark, it's invisible, so it's considered to be a potent time for setting intentions. It's like planting a seed in the dark, moist ground. The moon is not particularly happy in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign that holds on to things and feels really deeply, and sometimes may hold on to negative feelings and get obsessive. And so the moon, that's why the moon is exalted in Taurus, right? Like Taurus is a lot more like chill, easygoing, sensual, about enjoying life. It's like stable emotionally, while moon in Scorpio might feel emotionally stable, but possibly in an intense way. Speaking of that, by the way, moon in Cancer, candle or almond moon could be really beautiful if you're born with the moon in Scorpio. If you're familiar with this energy, I would really recommend getting my moon in Cancer or almond moon candle. This is personally my favorite. I light it up every time I sort of feel a bout of anxiety come up. But knowing that the moon is uncomfortable in Scorpio might suggest that this new moon will bring up a lot of intensity with it. I quite like that the moon trines Saturn in Pisces. So there is a bit of a stabilizing energy, but we may notice that all of these dark tendencies, all of these like emotions, obsessions, things that we focus on too much, things that we choose to not express, things that we like try to hold on to and control on some level, all of that might come up, right? And because Scorpio is the sign of control, this new moon will encourage you to gain control over those passions. Instead of trying to control other people or control the outcome, this is your opportunity to gain control over yourself, right? And so Scorpio is the sign that, here in the northern hemisphere, it is connected to fall. It is connected to the darkness taking over the light. The days are shrinking, the nights are growing. And so it's the sign that is intimately familiar with death and rebirth, right? It's the sign like nature is folding back into itself. It's dying. It's like slowing down. So Scorpio knows that process really well. And I think this new moon, besides that energy of gaining control of our intense passions, it also encourages us to get comfortable with uncomfortable things, because when the nature dies and winter comes, you have to be ready. You have to be comfortable with it. So trusting your intuition, letting your feelings flow, not pushing them aside, allowing things to transform, gaining control over negative feelings, all of that could be just like overall themes. The ruler is Mars in Cancer, and around the time of the new moon, it actually trines Mercury in Scorpio and trines Neptune in Pisces. So it forms a grand water trine with Mercury in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces, which to me feels like, the ruler being Mars in Cancer, Mars being in its fall in Cancer, and Cancer being a sign of like familial things, comfort, children, vulnerability. Mars doesn't like to fight in Cancer, but sometimes we have to. We have to fight for those vulnerable. We have to fight for our feelings, for our emotions, for our boundaries. So that trine between Mars, Mercury, and Neptune makes me feel like this new moon offers you a chance to speak up about something that you feel really passionate about, but with the compassion of Neptune. So it's like you're not shying away from uncomfortable topics at the time of the new moon, but you are not being too blunt or cocky or negative. So the new moon trine Saturn, right, suggests that there might be opportunities to start projects that require emotional maturity. So projects that require maybe helping people, projects that allow you to step into the position of responsibility, leadership. It might be easier to reach your goals, especially when you operate out of that place of like, what can I offer to the world? You may notice this new moon brings up topics of like support of authority figures. Other people are happy to lend you a helping hand, and you might find yourself once again in a position of lending a helping hand to someone. Projects that involve emotional maturity might also have to do with writing, right? Both are water signs, deep feelings, so you might choose to put your emotions on the page. Filming, expressing feelings somehow. Going after your dreams is a good time because Saturn allows that steady effort, steadiness. It might also, once again, help you gain control of those like negative feelings, because it can help you be more discerning about what is worth and what is not worth keeping. And so you may notice with the trine to Saturn, both recognition for your knowledge and recognition for the hard work you've been doing, as well as opportunities to take on the hard work, share the knowledge, empower people, gain control. I keep saying this gain control thing, but I do think that like gaining control, I'm gonna write it down for myself, but gaining control over like deep passions could be an important theme of this moon. So this is it as far as the general intro. Just a quick overview, right? Be ready for your emotions to run wild. Take good care of yourself. Draw a really hot bath, right? Do a cleansing cry, light some candles up, and let it all out. Clean yourself first before you set new intentions. Like, think of what doesn't serve you. Think of what needs to be washed away from you or burned up in the righteous fire. But don't set your place on fire. Be careful with burning things up. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about 2025 and what it has in store for you. We can discuss your romantic compatibility or talk about your natal chart and unlock your strengths, your weaknesses, etc. All of that is on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. So let's take a look at the 12 rising signs. I recommend listening for the rising sign. I know some of you are more connected to the sun sign or your moon sign, so definitely listen to what resonates, but I would go with the rising sign just because when I write these horoscopes, I look at rising signs. If you are an Aries rising, there's a new moon in your 8th house and a trine to Saturn in the 12th. I feel like this is a very powerful opportunity to either heal yourself or heal others, right? Saturn in the 12th is presenting you with this deep insight into your own personality. It has encouraged, or it's encouraging you to let go of bad habits, to commit to better mental health and better well-being. And so the new moon in the 8th might offer you opportunities to take that knowledge and bring it into something, right? Like the new moon in the 8th might suggest a new pursuit, a new project, a new job that lets you work with other people and guide other people through crises of some sorts, right? It allows you to step up and like show up in this responsible, mature, grown-up role with Saturn in the 12th house. And please share if this is resonating and how it's resonating. I'd love to hear from you, Aries risings. But it can also be a deeply healing time for yourself, right? The new moon in the 8th can bring a sense of letting go of old patterns, letting go of fears, letting go of doubts potentially. It can also encourage you to deal with challenge in a more calm way. The new moon in the 8th is ripe with opportunities for deeper intimacy, vulnerability, sharing. For many of you, the new moon in the 8th might suggest some kind of like a new, maybe you're taking a loan, maybe you're asking a family member for help, maybe you are feeling vulnerable but you're trying anyways, right? The new moon in the 8th might also reflect some kind of like both a way to mesh yourself with other people and figure out how you belong with them and start some kind of agreements, right? Like opening a joint bank account, getting married, starting to receive child support. But it can also be the time when you separate and you sever connections that are not serving you. The ruler Mars being in the 4th house might suggest like some kind of rebalancing involving your living situation, involving your home, your family, like once again, healing childhood wounds or figuring out new ways of relating with people which maybe feel uncomfortable. Maybe you're stepping into the role of a spiritual teacher and you feel like you have ways to go yourself, but can also be powerfully eye-opening and life-changing. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Highly recommend my Moon in Cancer 2 candle. This could be a lovely accompaniment for the rest of the year, early 2025, when we're dealing with one retrograde after the other. If you are a Taurus rising, there's a new moon in your 7th house and a trine Saturn in the 11th. So the new moon in the 7th might represent romantic new beginnings, a new relationship. You meet someone, you start getting serious, you become official. A new step in an existing relationship, an engagement, a wedding. It can also represent new partnerships coming into your life. The fact that there is that trine to Saturn in the 11th makes me wonder that maybe you're starting a business partnership with a friend. Maybe you're starting a project with a friend. Maybe you're working on some kind of community related initiative, because Saturn in the 11th is very much offering you an opportunity to step up and be that leader, that guide, that mentor in your community. There might be, if we sort of jump back for a second to the romantic part of this, the trine to Saturn in the 11th might represent a change in the friendship status, where you go from friends to lovers or friends to business partners. Definitely some kind of new beginnings in love, relationships, partnerships that involve more maturity, more responsibility, more commitment in friendships, in networks, in your community involvement. There might also be new dreams that involve your marriage potentially, or involve your relationship, right? Like you and your partner start to think about moving to France, or you start to think about opening a horseback riding school or something like that. Please share how this resonates. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com and pick up my Exalted Mars candle or Mars Kasdimi candle. These could be great for the upcoming Mars retrograde. If you are a Gemini rising, there's a new moon in your 6th house and a trine to Saturn in the 10th. I see this as a new beginning that involves labor. You're like venturing on the path that will be difficult, that will be laborious, that will be hard, and that might involve your health. New moon in the 6th might be, hey, my blood work has been coming out with high cholesterol. Let me like commit to exercising, eating healthy, and you're just like very, very determined to do it. The trine to Saturn in the 10th. Maybe you're like driven by getting yourself better so that you can achieve your professional goals. There might also be the new moon in the 6th might represent studying. The ruler is Mars in the 2nd, so it feels like you're driven by, once again, either making money or building your self-confidence up. So committing to taking better care of your physical health, 100%. Committing to a work project, committing to a course of study, committing to some type of like goal you have set for yourself that will let you reach more success professionally, because there is that trine in this to Saturn in the 10th, and you crave recognition. You want to be known for something. You want to be successful, and whatever that means for you, right? For some people, it will be successful as like the richest person alive. For others, it will be successful as someone who changes the lives of like 3-4 people, right? In a month maybe, or something. Like, it's, don't kill yourself, but it's a beautiful time, I think, with this new moon in the 6th to examine your habits, release health protocols that do not serve you, commit to the ones that do, and maybe welcome more structure in your life, welcome sort of better routines around how you handle work. And ask yourself, ultimately with this new moon, like ask yourself what is worth sacrificing for, what is worth your blood, sweat, and tears, and then get on it, Gemini rising. So if you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about your year coming up, your relationship, or your natal chart. And pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It is full of beautiful insights. It is awesome, and I put a lot of love into this. Moving on to Cancer rising. If you are a Cancer rising, there's a new moon in your 5th house and a trine to Saturn in the 9th. Some kind of new beginnings involving pleasure that maybe take you to a foreign land, that take you to school, back to school, or being a teacher. That maybe make you pick up a pen and start writing, or pick up your notebook and start writing. That maybe encourage you to publish some of your work. New moon in the 5th, trine Saturn in the 9th might also suggest that you are, I definitely feel like I think the guiding principle here is like, how can I enjoy life more? And then the trine to Saturn in the 9th, do I need to change my mind? Do I need to rethink how I approach things? Do I need to start saying positive affirmations? Do I need to start exercising? Do I need to take singing lessons, right? Do I need to relocate because I'm not happy with where I'm at? But 5th house is also the house of children. So the new moon in the 5th, trine Saturn in the 9th, could be very much like some kind of new beginnings in the life of the child that involves school. going to new school, getting a new teacher, starting some kind of new program. The new moon in the 5th might involve you getting pregnant or giving birth to a child. It might suggest that you're maybe asking important questions about parenthood. And of course, 5th house is also the place of sex and romance and pleasure, and like in that way. So it can also represent new beginnings, a new relationship, a new connection entering your life. And to each their own, right? Share which one you think it will be for you. And if you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I highly recommend my Mars Kazemi candle for you, because this is actually Mars in the 5th house. Moon in Cancer too is another really great choice for Cancer risings. This one is for Moon in Cancer is for calm and peace, and Mars Kazemi is for achievement and like steady energy flow. So all of that at anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely solar Leo rising, there's a new moon in your 4th house and a trine to Saturn in the 8th. And this feels like new beginnings in the home life, something changing with the family. The trine to Saturn in the 8th might suggest that you're feeling supported by the family, that they are giving you a loan, helping you pay off a debt. And maybe that allows you to move to a better place or just to have better relationship with them. The trine to Saturn in the 8th might also reflect that you've been working on healing things and transforming the past, and now you have a lot more flow and harmony in your relationships with family. The new moon in the 4th could suggest that you're moving to a new place, a new home. And the trine to Saturn in the 8th might imply that you're getting a mortgage, that you're getting approved for a loan, or you're getting approved for a new house, right? So it's like it's very a good time, I think, for you Leo risings to move, or even redesign, redecorate, expand your home, or cleanse your home, right? Scorpio being the sign of death and rebirth. Maybe you're getting rid of a lot of the old, and that could be connected to a move, or that might just be part of a natural process where you do fall cleansing, not spring cleaning. So the trine to Saturn in the 8th definitely feels like either you're making healthy commitments, new decisions, signing contracts, getting loans, or it can also represent that, like I said in the beginning, there is some kind of supportive dynamic in either healing childhood wounds or being like your relationship maybe with family allowing you to make positive choices, positive changes in your life. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can look at your year coming up, your natal chart, your relationship, and pick up my 2025 astrology planner. It is awesome and full of exciting insights and guides and journaling pages and more. If you are the beautiful Virgo rising, there's a new moon in your 3rd house and a trine to Saturn in the 7th. That's not even a word. The 11th. So the new moon in the 3rd reflects new beginnings around speech. Maybe you are practicing saying things that normally don't feel comfortable for you. The ruler is Mars in the 11th. And so maybe it's involving friendships, maybe it's involving speaking up in sort of professional context with colleagues or classmates. There might be new beginnings in writing, in business, in education, taking new classes or teaching. Changes to your schedule, changes to your everyday life that involve relationships, because there's a trine to Saturn in the 7th, and the Saturn being in your 7th house all year is very much reflective of you having to take on more responsibility in relationship, or a partner going through a little bit more difficult time, or some kind of commitment in relationships might be highlighted by the Saturn in the 7th. So the new moon in the 3rd makes me think like, are you starting a business with your spouse? Are you starting to write a project, starting to write something in collaboration with someone else? Like there's very strong energy of like involvement with your community, friendships, following your dreams, improving your skills, giving back, that involve being in bed with someone, right? Could be literally if it's your significant other, but it could also be a little bit more spiritually, right? Like maybe it's about like spiritually, I mean like even meeting a teacher that is supportive, but maybe it's a friend, maybe it's like someone you are signing a contract with. Doesn't have to be like a marriage partner. Share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, talk about your year coming up and your relationship. You can also find my 2025 astrology planner on there and get yourself ready to the year ahead. My beautiful Libra risings, there's a new moon in your second house and a trine to Saturn in the sixth. The new moon in the second house is about new beginnings in finances. There might be a raise coming your way. Maybe you're asking for a raise. There might be a new job. The trine to Saturn in the sixth definitely suggests commitment to something. So shifts around finances, shift around priorities are also quite possible here. The new moon in the second might also encourage you to die and be reborn in terms of how you take care of yourself, how you value yourself. There might be new interests, new passions, right? The trine to Saturn in the sixth, the ruler being Mars in the 10th. It's like there is a lot of focus on career. There is a lot of focus on professional growth. And if you've been noticing this over the course of the last couple of months, please share how has Mars in the 10th house affected your career. But so either a chance for growth in the current job or something new, right? Like new beginnings that involve fitness, that involve diet, exercising, teaching people about nutrition, committing to some kind of labor of love or commitment to a cause. The new moon in the second might be you completing a project and opening yourself up to new beginnings. You might be launching a business. So either like an actual tangible change to your finances and your job, or a little bit more like spiritual internal transformation where you're welcoming a different kind of energy, a different kind of pursuits in your life. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about your year coming up, your natal chart, or your relationship compatibility. And check out my website for the planners. Venus and Libra candle is a perfect choice for you guys for like beauty and admiration and recognition and creative inspiration. I would recommend that a lot. If you are the lovely Scorpio rising, this is of course really big. It's a new moon in your first house. It's your personal birthday. Even if you are not a Scorpio sun, new moon in Scorpio is a chance to reinvent yourself. And there is a trine to Saturn in the fifth. So it's a new beginnings to your identity, to your health, to your image, to your style that involve creative responsibility, creative projects. Like you are changing, you're saying, I am a business owner who is a party planner now. Saturn in the fifth might also be very much about parenthood. New beginnings to your health, new beginnings to your body, connected to giving birth, connected to becoming a parent. There might be romantic changes with Saturn in the fifth house, some kind of new beginning that is prompted by your partner's life changing or by your relationship shifting and maybe, changing to the next level. Some type of commitment potentially with Saturn in the fifth is possible. You might notice a strong desire to change your look, to change your style, to paint your hair a new color, get a tattoo, reflect your internal changes somehow externally. Watch out for really drastic transformations, but definitely follow your intuition. Could also be a really good opportunity to let something go, right? I think as a Scorpio rising, maybe there is a certain obsessive tendency where you worry about certain things too much. So try to be reflective and self-aware and focus on letting unhealthy patterns go. Share how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also pick up my 2025 planner, and my choice for you guys is the Mars Kazemi candle, because we have Mars retrograde coming up and you are Mars ruled. So you can very much benefit from a Mars candle. For the Sagittarius rising, there's a new moon in the 12th house and a trine to Saturn in the 4th. How deep and transformative this is. So first of all, the new moon in the 12th might make you more aware of what doesn't serve you. 12th house is the place where we hide our spiritual garbage. It's the place where we turn the light off, we put things, we shove them in the dark corner, and we don't address them. So the new moon happening in the 12th house definitely brings attention to that sector of your life. You may notice a strong desire to retreat, to step back, to spend some time in solitude. Lean on your family members. There's a trine to Saturn in the 4th. Definitely spend some time alone. You might enjoy cleaning your mental space by cleaning your physical space. Perhaps it's a time to declutter the space around you, get rid of things, and through that you may cleanse your soul as well. The new moon in the 12th might offer you opportunities to heal. It might encourage spiritual practices and spiritual focus in your life, very much so, especially I think even with the trine to Saturn in the 4th. 4th is the house of comfort, and 12th house is the house of spirituality. So finding a therapist to heal a childhood wound, starting to do yoga, starting to meditate, exploring Reiki. There might also be opportunities, to be honest, here to get away, and not just to get away, but even relocate and travel and escape somehow, because the new moon in the 12th might represent that there is a new place you're going towards, and you may feel isolated, you may feel lonely, but it's because you made that choice. And feeling lonely is normal, especially if you have just relocated to a new place. Would love to know how this resonates with you guys. As always, if you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about your natal chart, your year coming up, or how loud the trucks are outside in New York when I am filming. Pick up my 2025 planner on my website too. It's really great to help you maximize the year to come. It is, of course, a garbage truck, so garbage trucks don't mess around. If you are the lovely Capricorn rising, there's a new moon in your 11th house and a trine to Saturn in the 3rd. And this feels like a chance to build healthy relationships, new friendships that are deep, that are emotional, that are, enmeshed, insightful, like raw and just so connected and vulnerable. That make you feel supported, right? Like the new moon in the 11th, you're looking at your friendships and your connections and your role in your community, and you might be realizing what doesn't serve you. You might be becoming more clear about the patterns in relationships or certain friendships that are maybe unhealthy, and so letting some friendships go is a possibility here. With the trine to Saturn in the 3rd, you might be having some important conversations. The ruler is Mars in the 7th, so like very strong relationship energy here. New beginnings that involve sort of new partnerships, new dreams, new networks that involve education, you becoming a teacher, or you going back to school and joining a group of new people, and so you're becoming friends with them. That involve writing, like a writing collaboration or a dream that involves writing. That involve, once again, community, if I haven't said that yet, but like working with the community. That involve business. You're maybe building a network for your business, right? Even working with siblings or neighbors is quite possible here. Please share how this resonates, beautiful Capricorn rising. And if you're looking for more, book a reading at anastasiadoesastrology.com. Pick up my 2025 planner and definitely grab an Exalted Mars candle. Mars is about to go retrograde. Exalted Mars is Mars in Capricorn, so this could be a beautiful fit for you and a helpful tool to navigate the challenging retrograde cycle. If you are an Aquarius rising, there's a new moon in your 10th house and trine to Saturn in the 2nd. I like this for new professional beginnings, and not just professional, but it could be professional, right? Like new moon in the 10th, trine Saturn in the 2nd. You are coming to your boss and you're saying, hey, I've done this amount of work. I am ready to take on more. Look at my numbers. Look at the hours I have worked, the project progress I have made. And you're basically being very like structured about asking for more and asking for a different position. The new moon in the 10th, trine Saturn in the 2nd might also suggest that you're envisioning a new career based on maybe some kind of recent financial change. So let's say with Saturn in the 2nd, you've been really working to pay off a debt you have, or you've been waiting for some kind of insurance payment and you get it, and that lets you have more freedom, right? That lets you look for work that is not soul draining, but actually like supportive and joyful and soulful, because as an Aquarius rising with moon in your 10th house, with Scorpio in your 10th house, you want a job that is not only going to be stable, but also going to outfit you with a challenge that will give you a chance to transform and dig deep and connect with people and even heal people. So big questions around professional life, public life, what satisfies, what doesn't satisfy, how you need to invest your money, what you need to spend on in order to reach more professional success. All of that is highlighted here. If you're looking for personal guidance, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com. Highly recommend looking at the years to come. We can do a predictive reading or your natal chart, or look at your relationship. And Mars Kazemi would be a really great candle for you. It highlights your 10th house of career. It's Mars in the sign of rulership Scorpio, very determined, very dedicated, very unstoppable and successful once it sets its mind on something. Last but not least, if you are a beautiful Pisces rising, there's a new moon in your 9th house and a trine to Saturn in the 1st. And it feels like new beginnings involving education, teaching or studying, involving writing, becoming a writer, publishing your work, travel, relocating, getting a job that includes more travel, and law. Especially if you are in the law, if you are a lawyer, there might be some type of a chance to change what you do and how you do it. The new moon in the 9th might also represent an ideological shift, a shift in the way you look at things. Mars, the ruler of this new moon, is in your 5th house currently, which might reflect a certain pressure on, pressures on relationships, pressures on having more fun in life, enjoying life a little bit more. So the new moon in the 9th can also be very much like an ideological shift. But the trine to Saturn in the 1st makes me think that you're getting an opportunity to be more visible, to be more in a position of a manager. So if we're talking about like you're a lawyer, or replace a lawyer with a job that you do, right? Like the trine to Saturn in the 1st might be like, we see you. We see the hours you put in. We see how you talk to clients. We see how responsible you are. How about now you lead other lawyers or other trainees? So the new moon in the 9th is like some kind of new beginnings involving growth, expansion, travel, education, writing, publishing, philosophy, right? Even being elected as like a religious leader is quite possible, or some kind of group leader with a trine to Saturn. I see here very much. So maybe you're traveling for work, like I said. Maybe you're choosing to write. All the things I've said, basically. I don't think there's more I can add. If you're looking for more, book a reading at Anastasia.astrology.com. We can do a natal chart, predictive, year ahead, relationship reading, and you can pick up my 2025 astrology planner. The year is coming to a close, so this is the tool that can help you get ready for 2025 and maximize it to the fullest. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I have filmed this video way ahead because October is my month of yoga training, teacher training. So soon you will start seeing videos that are filmed more recently. But hopefully nothing crazy happened in the world while I was away, and hopefully everyone is doing well. I hope you've had a beautiful October. I will talk to you soon. Bye.